You've probably heard that commonplace phrase when people say, you just have to take life one day at a time. Well, that might work for some, but when it comes to those struggling with addiction, sometimes you have to take life 1 minute at a time.
That's because addiction is a disease that creates temptations and ultimately dire consequences for those suffering from it. But there's light, hope, and power for those that find faith and strength to overcome. With us this afternoon, this is Lamonte Christopher. He's the author of Consequences of My Addiction. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love having you. So this is your book?
Yes, sir.
Can I see it?
Yes.
So now, do I understand that in your book, your first exposure to addiction was like early on?
Yes, sir. My first addiction was about food because I used food as a friend. So mostly I would just eat food basically all the time for any type of thing. So I felt like I struggled with that early on.
Okay.
And then throughout my life, other addictions start to form as well. But later on, I realized that food was my addiction first.
Okay.
Because I was a big child, so I used food as a friend. I really didn't have any friends or family members to look on to, so I used food as my struggles first. Then later on, I suffered with the alcohol abuse and substance abuse and things like that.
Okay.
So when was it that you realized that you had addictive tendencies?
I believe I was around 18 years old when I was working at Purdue in Salisbury, Maryland. That's when I first started realizing that I had addiction problems because I would come home from work and I would just start normally doing drugs and doing the alcohol. That's when I first started realizing that I had issues with abuse.
So listen, we kind of jumped in with both feet right off the top. I want to say thank you. We want to say thank you for sharing this story because I know it's not always the easiest thing to share this kind of thing. Would you mind telling us what some of your earliest consequences were from addictions?
Some of my earliest consequences was when I was doing drugs all the time and I wound up losing my apartment and my job and my sanity all within the same week.
Wow.
All within the same week. I lost my job on a Saturday, I lost my car on a Sunday, and I lost my apartment on a Monday.
Oh,
it was all within the same week. And that's where and then the next day is when I suffered from the mental abuse because I thought, why was I doing this? Why would I allow myself to get into a situation where I could lose everything in the same week? Yeah. And it really devastated me, and it took me time to kind of build myself back together. I just recently, finally, was able to get myself back together.
So at what point did you say to yourself, I need to find help, I need to get help?
I believe it was when I lost my apartment, house, and car.
Okay.
Within the same week. So I was asking if I could stay with a family member, and the family member said no. So I could have either went to a shelter, which would have made the problem worse because at the shelter I still could have done drugs and alcohol and things like that. So I made a decision to go to a treatment facility to get help. And I heard about this treatment facility when I went to another place to get medicine for my anxiety and depression, and they mentioned this place to me about getting help. And at first I thought it was a joke because I was not ready emotionally to let go of the drugs. But then when I lost everything within the same week, a voice in my head said, why don't you just go to this treatment facility for help? And it was literally the best decision of my life because while I was in this treatment facility, that's when I started writing my book. And I wrote the book first as a journal because I was kind of bored in the facility at first, and then as I started to write the book, I started to feel like I was giving myself my own therapy sessions, and it really felt good for me.
So this was like the beginning of your journey to recovery?
Yes, and it really helped me form into the person that I am today.
To write things down.
So what was it like to complete your book, get it published? I mean, would you have ever imagined that your addiction would turn into something like this?
I never would have imagined. I just was basically writing it just to write, and I just had this feeling, well, when I try to get the book published, and then when the book was published and the publisher called me and said it's online, I feel like I just wanted to scream and cry at the same time because I went from losing everything within the same week to having my place again, a vehicle, a good job, well, 2 jobs now, and then a book that's published on 7 different websites. So it just gave me this feeling of I lost everything for a purpose, and now that purpose was for me to get better and get the help that I needed.
So it started out as a journal.
Yes.
And then it became a book.
Yes.
Let's say somebody gets their hands on your book. What do you want them to take away from it?
I want them to take away that I'm not the only one I'm not the only one who struggles with mental abuse, food abuse, substance abuse, alcohol abuse. I want someone to read my book and be like, that's me. I'm not the only one in the world who suffers from this. My goal is to try to educate and help anyone that I can, whether it's them reading my book or me doing some type of public speaking. I want to take from this experience what I've learned and help anybody else that I can help, because I know there's other people out there who's suffering with these addictions. Right. And I want them to not be scared and to go out and try to get any type of help, treatment facilities, my book, anything that they can do to help themselves move forward and be a better person.
It's hard work, isn't it?
It's very hard work. It's very hard work.
But it's possible.
It is possible. I didn't think it was possible. Never in my life did I would ever think that I would be here telling my story, when years ago I felt like the bottom of a trash can. And it's rough to say that, but that's what I felt like. And now I have no emotional regards for people. I don't have any anger anymore. I'm emotionally free. And I have never felt this way in my entire 41 years until this moment now. Wow.
Well, congratulations.
Yes.
And congratulations on the book.
Thank you very much.
How can we get a hold of the book?
You can get a hold of the book at Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, and there's other websites that you can look at. All you do is type in my name, Lamonte Christopher, or Consequences of My Addictions, and my book automatically will pop up. And it's available on ebook, paperback, and hardcover as well.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And congratulations again.
And congratulations, yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, addressing health issues around the community from the perspective of the youth. Today on Delmarva Live, what a crucial coalition of young people is doing to develop skills they can use to create a healthier, brighter future.
And we're remembering all the goofs, the gaffes, and the laughs that we've had recently with another edition of All That Is Good. Stick around. Delmarva Live, we'll be right back.